smarter. I like this little nigga. But you left one thing out, little nigga. Show of hands, how many people ever raped a man? How many people ever been raped by a man? Again. All up, 100%. You can't get no higher than that, nook. You step in here, you get raped. Right up the brown eye, baby. I raped a few niggas myself. I ain't really enjoyed it. Not that much. Not that much. Felt good to the I ain't let that nigga kiss me or nothing, but I did tear that ass up, nigga. I ain't gonna lie about it. But that's what the man's oppressive system did to me. Now,
what if I told you that the media or the white population, in terms of the ones who have something against black people and want to keep up the BS going, the stereotypes going, they don't have to do anything personally at all. All they have to do is put up two equally low IQ'd African American people on the same panel, and those two morons can do that job for them. What if I told you that? What if I also told you that African American women have the responsibility and actually contract AIDS and HIV by their own thought processes, by their own volition, all by themselves, without the help of African American men? Do you think all that is actually possible? Well, let me tell you, it is. When you have a group of people or two people or whatever have you with low IQ who will do anything, and I mean absolutely anything, to protect African American women from the obvious truth that everybody else on the planet has figured out: how African American women contract AIDS and HIV and have the highest rates of AIDS and HIV. How everybody else doesn't contract AIDS and HIV at a high or the highest rate as African American women actually do. How come 22% of African American men who hop the fence are not spreading AIDS and HIV to anybody because they don't have it at all? Well, I'm going to get right down deep into that, and I'm going to explain how people like D.L. Hughley and Sherri and a whole host of others, you can include Steve Harvey, use denial and deceive techniques just so they can protect the ridiculous lie that black men give black women AIDS, and the truth that black women go out there and seek AIDS candidates by themselves.
The first reason AIDS is out of control among African Americans is ignorance. Ignorance among people in power. Ignorance among people who should know better. The war on drugs meant sending thousands more street-level drug offenders to prison. Men who were more likely to be infected with HIV from dirty needles. Since 1980, the U.S. prison population has quadrupled.
We're doing mass incarcerations of black men in America. More college-age black men are in prison than are in college. Many of them go into prison HIV negative, come out HIV positive, and we don't have a strategy to deal with this.
Prisons are notorious breeding grounds for HIV. Infection rates are 5 times higher than outside the walls. Sex between men in prison has been the subject of only a handful of studies, but one study by a national police organization found that at least 40% of inmates had had sex with another man in prison. And despite strong evidence that condoms reduce the spread of AIDS, they are forbidden in all federal and most state and local prisons.
To make condoms available in prison would be to admit that sex occurs in prison. And for some reason, the prisons don't want to say that happens. But if we want to encourage HIV transmission, it's the perfect policy. I think that would be the way to do it.
In most prisons, testing is voluntary. AIDS activists say that's because if an inmate tests positive, he has a right to treatment, and the prisons don't want to pay the high cost. So men can leave prison infected with HIV and never know it. And most men say when they leave prison, they'll resume having sex with women.
Well, I've looked at rates of incarceration throughout the state of North Carolina, 100 counties. And in those counties where the rates are highest, the rates of sexually transmitted diseases and HIV are also highest. So there is a relationship, a direct relationship between these two. All of this is the perfect storm for HIV. All of it comes together to create a situation where HIV could hardly be better off.
All right, look, y'all. Once you understand math, you start to realize that certain things that are coming out of the African American community absolutely doesn't make any sense whatsoever. And what I'm talking about in exact terms is there was a segment on The View in which D.L. Hughley, Sherri Shepherd, and a few others were discussing, pretty much this new rule that gay men can't donate blood. And it got even deeper. It started to get into blame black men phase of the argument once again. 2010, we're still not away from it. And basically, from a math standpoint, there's no way that you can blame black men for this, because mathematically it doesn't make any sense. If African American women are in the group of the highest rates of AIDS infection, if their rates are rising higher than everybody else's, then that means that there's a math problem that's wrong. Because if they're getting it from African American men, then explain why African American men's AIDS rates aren't raising any higher. And if they're saying, okay, really what we're getting it from is from down low black men, then you have to explain why the gay HIV AIDS rate of infection isn't going any higher. So what I'm pointing out is that when you don't use your brain, you find yourself on national TV making the most unintelligent argument imaginable. And if I realize what's going on mathematically, and other brothers are realizing what's going on mathematically, and the news specials talking about males in prison and how HIV is being transmitted within the prison population, and they're not giving the prisoners condoms, and the prisoners don't ever have to know, even while being tested, if they are HIV infected, if they don't want to know, in order to keep this big secret about men having sex in prison. And then you link it to the fact that African American women have an insatiable need to have sex with thugs, then you have your answer to the math problem. The ironic part about it is, if all these specials have come out and everybody else, in terms of, actual black men, understand the math problem, then that means that when you look around, all the other races of people understand the math problem as well. So everybody knows how African American women are getting a high infection rate of AIDS and HIV. It's because they're having sex with the same population, the same criminal population that is having sex with each other in prison. The thug. This is the most ridiculous amounts of denial ever seen and witnessed on TV by two African Americans. And I'm going to put this out here. If you all don't confront the truth about what African American women are doing to themselves at a young age, then the problem won't be fixed. The ever-increasing rates of AIDS and HIV infection for African American women within that population will continue to go higher and higher and higher if you guys keep lying to yourself and lying on others. It's as simple as that. Denial only makes things worse. What will be the repercussion? Now watch this segment of the Cavalry that also includes segments of The View. D.L. Hughley and Sherri Shepherd. Now watch the African American woman and the African American male working together in complete denial of reality. And watch how they don't ever mention the root of the problem. A thug is a thug is a thug. So, I'm going to start out with a brief piece about D.L. Hughley and my thoughts, and then on to the view.
Now me, I'm more of a romantic type. I'll still rape you, but I'll definitely stroke your head lovingly while I do it. See, because I want you to like it. Now you don't have to like it, but Sorry, I was distracted by that fine right there. What's your name, fam? What's your name?
Don't think that's,
Tom. Okay, now let's talk about Tom. Tom is the type of nigga that gives us wet dreams up in here. Medium brown, soft features, tall and in shape, but still soft and squishy. Now, I like to put the jelly inside my ass. Then put some of this peanut butter on top of it. I call it a peanut butter jelly and sandwich.